Gideon Moi and what he said today. If we can have a look at what he said today.
Akan macam lagi tadi, mato buat kuleo 2022 migi tadi Moi waswahili kutangulia sioku onai no tagamo lagi. Amuko wale biju paparingo mati ounyu kusom. Amu mami binadamu jiare nitendo courage bobi chijoge enlolenyi.
Haman, from what? Okay, you're really laughing. But what Gideon Moi is saying, and he said this, they talked about this, Kanu talked about this on Thursday again. You know, Gideon Moi and Kanu support Kenyatta. He has said clearly it should not be misconstrued to mean that he's supporting Ruto either now or 2022. How does that work?
It is tricky for him because the two come as a package. So I think what is happening is simple, Hussein. Gideon Moi would want to have some space come 22 going forward. Now, if he does not break William Ruto's legs now, it will be very difficult. And that's why I think it would have been in the interest of Gideon, you know, these are politicians, for Uhuru and Ruto to lose. So that come 22, he can occupy some space. Because, look at this way, if President Uhuru wins the elections, with Ruto as his deputy, you know the lame duck presidency syndrome. Come 2020, from 2019 moving to 2020, people will begin to identify more with Ruto than the President Uhuru. People actually pass when you are seated and you are the president. They are identifying where power is shifting. So that means, therefore, it will be difficult to dislodge William Ruto come 2022. Whatever games you play, whoever you team up with. And so therefore, for now, it is in the interest of Gideon to destabilize Ruto. The only problem he has, he comes as a package with Uhuru Kenyatta.
So you're saying it's in Gideon's interest, and you think he doesn't want even Uhuru to win the presidency?
Inside him, he wouldn't want. Let me give you a scenario. Supposing, say, like Raila wins. You know, 2022 is an open field. And Gideon Moi could team up with anybody and stand a chance, either as president or deputy president.
I don't think what Majora is saying, at least a bit of it could be correct. It's very far from the truth. And I don't think it's in Gideon Moi's or anybody's interest. In fact, any Kenyan's interest for Uhuru Kenyatta to lose the presidency, except of course those in Naswa. But what Gideon Moi, to me, is suffering from is Nusum Kate syndrome. A syndrome where you think that we come into government as one group versus another group, and we come to negotiate in that government. I think that's what he's looking at towards 2022. Two, I think it is incumbent on Gideon Moi to realize, one, that if he's in support of Uhuru Kenyatta, we are talking about Uhuru Kenyatta running in the 2017 election, not 2022. We're not talking about 2022 now. We're talking about the 2017 election. The 2022 election will come, and dynamics, that election dynamics will be there.
Right.
Whether he says kutangulia sio kufika, meaning that being directed at William Ruto, I think the other thing that Gideon needs to appreciate is that William Ruto today is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. He's not the deputy president of the Kalenjin people, or representing a Kalenjin nation in the Republic. He's the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, and he's a man who is respected across the country. And as you said, you've seen the kind of crowds, if we are to measure support with crowds, that he pulls across the country from Western, Ukambani to Coast to Central Kenya, and that is something Gideon Moi can only dream about.
Given that, I want you to respond to that before Java's response. You say he should know the stage of the deputy president, William Ruto, that he's the deputy president. Now that you say that, what we saw a few weeks ago, President Kenyatta and Mama Ngina going to visit Moi, President Moi, and they were seen with Gideon Moi. Ruto was conspicuously absent then. I mean, can this in any way impact on the relations between Ruto and the president, knowing very well that Gideon Moi is undermining the president?
Let me tell you, for anyone with that Nusum Kate syndrome in him, maybe you would have that kind of thinking. But if you understand the kind of relationship that is there between the president and the deputy president, they're like Siamese twins. Come in between them, you'll be the loser. And I'll tell you for a fact the visit by Mama Ngina Kenyatta and even Uhuru Kenyatta to Mzee Moi. And believe me, anybody in this country who is worth being called a national leader, with President Moi and President Kibaki being retired presidents in this country, why didn't we make hue and cry when Uhuru Kenyatta went to visit, or William Ruto went to visit Kenneth Matiba or Mwai Kibaki just last year? Because
nobody's undermining the deputy president in Matiba or Kibaki's family.
The other thing that is being misread, Hussein, is one that Uhuru Kenyatta needs somebody to go and speak to the people of Rift Valley. And Gideon Moi therefore thinks, you must come through me maybe to speak to the people of Baringo. So and I'll tell you,
from what you're telling me, you don't think what he's saying is right in terms of he doesn't want to sabotage even President Uhuru Kenyatta. You don't think what he's saying is right.
I don't think Gideon Moi wants to sabotage Uhuru Kenyatta, but Gideon Moi does believe that Uhuru Kenyatta must go through somebody. And he forgets, Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013 went to the people of the Rift Valley, directly to the people, and got the people of the Rift Valley to vote for him. Uhuru Kenyatta does not need Gideon Moi, does not need anybody else for that voter, including William Ruto.
He doesn't need William Ruto for the Kalenjin vote, the Rift Valley vote.
You would need William Ruto if you have that Nusum Kate syndrome, that William Ruto is coming carrying a Let me tell you, Uhuru Kenyatta can and has gone to the people of Rift Valley. In 2013, when Gideon Moi was supporting Musalia Mudavadi, Uhuru Kenyatta went to the people of the Rift Valley.
Okay, let me
just today is a Sunday.
You're saying,
before he talks, I think today is a Sunday. Kimani Ichung'wah could have taken something. You do live in this country.
Well, I don't want to conclude that Mheshimiwa Ichung'wah is new in Jerusalem. Yeah. But now, to shine some light on political syllogism, going by the statements by of Honorable Gideon Moi, is this one: Honorable Moi is a late bloomer politically, and he wants also to get to have some light, political light, shine upon him. Now he realizes for a fact that the deputy president is way ahead of him. But now look, realize too that this is a question of this politics that Gideon Moi is playing is about a relay race of political dynasties. And he thinks that, or he assumes, or he perceives that President Kenyatta will either covertly or overtly hand over the baton to him upon his retirement, if at all, when or if possible, if President Kenyatta is re-elected. Now the thing is this: realize too that this rivalry has not commenced now, and Gideon Moi realizes this, that if he keeps quiet through this moment, he'll be slipping through a very critical period in his politics, and that's why he needs to start doing the stirring up the waters for his political significance to start emerging.
I just wanted to say this. You see, I was saying Kimani Ichung'wah. These days, today I will not call you Kamau. Kimani Ichung'wah. What I was saying was this: if you live in this country, you know that President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot go to Rift Valley, talk to the Kalenjin, and they vote with him for him without William Ruto or the other fellows who are there. Gideon Moi. Let me just finish, because you may not be living in this country. Secondly, what is happening in Rift Valley concerns and actually worries Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya. Already there are issues in Rift Valley. People like Isaac Ruto, don't take them for granted. If that move in the South Rift is allowed to team up with the rifts as they are occurring in Baringo and West Pokot, I'm telling you, the Jubilee House could be on fire. And because you know it is the Rift Valley that could decide this election in 2017, and the president cannot afford to take anything for granted.
Let me put this right, Hussein. One, I've told you, Gideon Moi is telling Uhuru Kenyatta, come to us. Don't think Gideon Moi is talking about us, talking about the people. He's talking about us, thinking about himself. And I want to tell you that Uhuru Kenyatta did manage to get the votes in the Rift and across this country, in places where he even had no henchmen per se.
Okay. And I want to tell you, was that independent of the president?
No, he didn't. But you need, and that's probably what Gideon Moi needs to understand, the philosophy behind the formation of the Jubilee coalition.
Right.
It was not a Nusum Kate government, and that is what Uhuru Kenyatta and President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were trying to do as president and deputy president. Form one unitary government. Therefore, Gideon should forget about the issues of trying to bring in those small divisions and telling President Uhuru Kenyatta must come through me.
My question to you is, Gideon Moi undermining the deputy president?
Well, to a large extent, I would say yes. Gideon Moi is not only just undermining; he lacks the respect that he ought to accord William Ruto. And he may disrespect William Ruto as someone who's come from nowhere and risen to the office of the deputy president. That happens, but he must appreciate today that William Ruto is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya and not the Kalenjin leader. Right. I've heard him say from what the clips you had that nobody has the Kalenjins in his pocket. Gideon Moi must also realize that even he has no Kalenjins in his pocket. But therefore, Kalenjins are not in Jubilee as Kalenjins, they're in Jubilee as Kenyans who believe in one unified and united nation. And that's the philosophy that forms the Jubilee coalition. The Nusum Kate government is probably what Gideon Moi was looking at when he was cohabiting for a very short time with Naswa. But Gideon Moi, bring your tribe, bring your other small group, we put them together.
But Gideon Moi is supporting Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election.
I want to believe
so. How does that work out for Jubilee? And you're saying very clearly he's undermining the deputy president. How does that work out? Let me say this, and I've put it, and that's the contradiction probably. Should it be loud and clear from Jubilee that Gideon Moi who said it's better place to answer that than myself, because I'm not the one. Let me answer for him. I'm the one contradicting himself. Let me answer for him. Him saying, I have to answer for him. Let me answer for him. But 2022, and that's why I said he must first realize that if you're supporting Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto are in the same team in 2017. This is why therefore he has to support both. This is why 2022 is a different ballgame. Right. This is what happened during the burial of the late Mark Tall. Let's take a look at what happened.
Alisema Gideon, maana or the meaning of hasla kune.
Wewe unajua vile ya kuomba kura mpaka upate. Uliomba 2013 na unajua ulitumia mbinu gani mpaka ukapata.
If Mark Tall was here today, angeenda huko atafute Gideon na mwambie Gideon, sasa poa kidogo, William kuja tukunywe chai, akuje aingie akute Gideon ameketi hapo, huyu anafanya nini? Watulize mambo, wacheke, waongee, walete watu pamoja. Au ni namna gani wenzao?
So my question is, do you think, and this is all to all of you, do you think Kenyatta at that point should have made it clear who is the deputy?
That's how I wanted to come in, even before you brought that clip. I wanted to say two things logically. One, it is true, and he accepts that Gideon Moi is undermining Deputy President William Ruto, okay? Number two, that William Ruto is important to the president in terms of working together, sharing the presidency, and in terms of the vote from the Kalenjin nation. Number three, logic will therefore dictate that the president should tell Gideon Moi to shut down. He will not do that because Gideon Moi is not as inconsequential, as small as Kimani Ichung'wah would want to believe. He's a powerhouse.
But why do you think then the president should have also called on KANU now when they were meeting, and now KANU saying they'll support Jubilee, they'll support the President Uhuru's re-election? Because does that mean he also thinks he knows Gideon is important?
Unlike Kimani Ichung'wah, President Uhuru knows Gideon is important. And in the question of Rift Valley, if you allow, like I said before, if you don't take care of Gideon Moi and KANU, and they team up with Isaac Ruto, hey man, there will be problem coming from
the thing that Manyora needs to realize, it's not about Gideon Moi. And you must respect President Uhuru Kenyatta as the President of the Republic of Kenya. And as President, you would not expect President Uhuru Kenyatta in a funeral of the late Mark Tall to just admonish someone like Gideon Moi or any other leader. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is someone who respects everybody across the board. And I'm not saying Gideon Moi is useless. And in fact, every other vote, even the ordinary voter in the Rift Valley, is important, and that's what President Uhuru Kenyatta is being told by Deputy President William Ruto. In 2013, you came to the people of the Rift Valley and they voted for you. And I want to remind you, it's not just in 2013. In 2002, when myself and never voted for Uhuru Kenyatta, the people in the Rift Valley supported Uhuru Kenyatta to the man.
Okay. Now, I'll come to you shortly. This is the final question on this matter, because we could talk on and on about it. There's a lot of things to talk about. I wish we had more time. But we had a party called URP in the Rift Valley. A very strong party, if you have to measure the number of seats they have in parliament currently, compared to any other party in the Rift Valley in the 2013 election. They merged, they formed the Jubilee Party. It was very clear Jubilee wanted one party. Should Jubilee accept KANU, coming again from the Rift Valley where URP was, to say we are going to remain as KANU, field our own candidates, and still support Uhuru Kenyatta? What does that mean for the people who abandon their parties like URP?
I think, Hussein, and that's why I said people need to understand the philosophy and the ideology that brought together Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. Remember in 2012, when they were running, they said even if they don't manage to win the presidency, and they managed to unite the people of this great country, they will have won. And God rewarded them with winning the presidency. 2, the unification of the small parties, URP, TNA, and all the other 12 parties that united to form the Jubilee Coalition, that did not in any way exclude anybody else from running their politics around. And nobody was being forced. That's why KANU, nobody is telling KANU you must dissolve to work with us. And we welcome everybody.
What was the essence then?
The essence, and that's why I told you there are those who are suffering from the Nusum Kata government, Nusum Kata syndrome. The essence was to have one political party where you run the country as a united country, not each and every ethnic group in this country having their own political party to come and never.
Then you ask about KANU.
No. And that is what KANU, and that's why I said Gideon Moi is suffering from that Nusum Kata syndrome, because he imagines that I can now carry the Kalenjin nation in this vehicle called KANU and go and trade with them.
But then you accept his support for Kenyatta.
That is the Kenya that all Kenyans want.
I wouldn't want to speak much about the issue of the syndrome here. And then the other thing is that I do not expect any time that President Kenyatta will admonish Gideon Moi for this kind of remarks. Remember that even the visit to former president and the visit by Mama Ngina to the former president all pointed to the issue of the worry of the President Kenyatta if at all KANU joins up, as Professor said, with the other quarters. Now the thing is this. Remember that the issue of the deputy presidency as an institution or as an office is not the one at issue here. It's not the one being undermined. What is at issue here is the issue of the supremacy of the Kalenjin politics. Now, it is not at issue, is not being fought for right now. But remember that given that Gideon Moi is aware of the ambition of the deputy president post Uhuru Kenyatta, that's 2022, he is aware that if William Ruto takes over the mantle or the baton, then he'll be left out in the cold nearly forever or for a very long time. And that is why it is consequential for Gideon Moi to start rising this moment and show that by flexing his muscle, he has got some political life in him.
He's actually wasting his time fighting a battle that will not benefit him or anyone else.
Let's take a look now at what happened yesterday in Eldoret. This was NASA's rally at the 24, is it 54?
64.
64 stadium.